Welcome to another Baby Theater. Today, we're going to be talking about Hansel and Gretel. You see, Hansel and Gretel were twins. One was a boy, one was a girl. They would travel throughout the forest many a times. So many times that, frankly, they thought they knew every square foot of that forest. Climb trees. They'd see from far away places. They'd see it all. They'd see everything. Far as the eye could see. And they really had not much to worry about because, you know, they've done this since they were like toddlers almost. And now, you know, they were like 6 or 7 or something. Still climbing trees and shit. And so, you know, they walked up and suddenly on the horizon was a big giant cupcake. And it wasn't just a cupcake. It was like just the top. You know? I like those. Just the top cupcakes. None of that crap in the bottom, like all the cake and yeah, it's not like no frosting. Come on, give us the frosting, you know. So they see this giant cupcake and they're like, "Is that real? Is that real? That's a giant cupcake, you know." So they started to go. They ran as fast as they could to this giant cupcake. Now, along the way, there was this fox that they ran into. And this fox was like, "Yo, you guys see this giant cupcake up there?" And they're like, "Yeah, we want to eat it." And the fox says, "Oh, whoa, you can't eat it, you know. Like a buddy of mine, Mr. Dog, he ate it. He got so sick that his pancreas fell out. Just fell out right on the ground. It was like, blip. Done. That was his pancreas. All because of a freaking cupcake, dude." And he's like, he also said, he goes, "Here, Mr. Caterpillar." Well, he tried to eat some. And he was so squiggly the next day that he squabbled. He squiggled and squabbled. Both. Like, that's sad. We don't like that. Squibbling and squabbling. You know? Yeah. We don't like that. So, you know, horror story after horror story of all these people that had eaten the cupcake and gotten really, really super sick or died or something like that. Well, there's a reason for that. The reason was because animals, when they eat cupcakes, they get sick. They get sick. Yeah. So, Hansel and Gretel, though, they were like determined. They were bound and determined. So they said, "Well, Mr. Fox, I understand your rules and regulations, and I'm not going to abide by them because we're smarter, frankly, than Mr. Fox. Now, Mr. Fox was kind of like a little bummed out. Like, wow, you're not going to listen to that. Like, I've just told you so many horror stories, you know. And you're still going to go down there? The heck are you doing? Why would you do that? Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, here you go. And so, right there. Yeah. Okay, like that. Okay. So, the next thing, they just started running. And then they started to see the signs. There were signs that said, "No trespassing. Beware of Cupcake. Get out. What are you doing? Like, run away. Oh my gosh. Stop." And then so they totally ignored the signs. They just kept running. They just kept running. And they got to the cupcake, and they looked up and they said, "Whoa," because it was so big. Like the biggest cupcake they'd ever seen. And so they started to take some bites of it, and they looked and they realized there was a cupcake door. Cupcake door? Cupcakes don't have doors on them. What do you think the door was made of? Chocolate. It's made of chocolate. It's chocolate bars. They're like, how does it not melt? You know? Like, it's beaming out here. You know, it's a forest. It should melt. But they go up to the chocolate door. They don't even open it. They just start eating it. You know? They were like... They even did like a Chuck Norris roundhouse kick. Walker, Texas Ranger style. Right into the door, broke it in half, started chewing it like a chocolate bar. Man, they're having a blast. A blast. And that's when they heard it. A blast from inside. It was it was a candy shotgun. And so they all of a sudden they had little nougats in their mouth. Nougat nuggets right in their mouth. And they started chewing and they were like, "Oh, that's even better." And who was in there? There was an old man in there. And he says, "What are you doing in my cupcake?" Right? Hansel and Gretel looked over and was like, "Oh, well, we're not eating it, if that's what you're thinking." And he looked down at his door, half eaten. He said, "You kids eating my cupcake?" He's like, "I told you. Didn't you read the signs? Not to eat my cupcake. Did you, would you, could you?" And they were like, "Well, we can't read. Yeah, that's it." Right? And they could read. They could read at like a second grade level already. It's crazy. And then, so the old man was like, "Oh, they're here. Why would they be here?" And so he shot another nougat. And he goes, "I'm." They ate it up. He said, that's messed up. He's like, if I make everything out of candy, you know, why are you going to eat it all? That doesn't make sense to me. And so they were like, well, you know, I mean, if the shoe fits on the cupcake, you wear it on your head, and then you spin around 3 times in a circle, and then you twist your head around. But you can only do that once. And then you wouldn't be able to do it one more time after that. And the old man was like, "What are you even talking about? That's not even a saying. That's not even a thing. And he says, my cupcake is my house. It's my home. And these kids, they just kept eating. They didn't listen to any, like that. They didn't listen to anybody. They were like, I'm going to eat it, even though it's not mine. Oh, spit up there. Good job. Good job. Yeah. Little. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're doing a good job. Yeah. No more? Okay. Nom, 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 nom. Yeah. So the old man was like, fine. If you're going to eat, you might as well eat. Come on inside. And they said, well, don't mind if I do, if you're going to be offering food. And he was offering food. And so they came inside and they were like, we're going to eat everything you have. Like, whatever you give us, we'll eat. And then we'll take whatever we want after that. They were very greedy kids. And so the old man, he starts making this batch of stew, right? And the stew had like all kinds of crazy things in there. They had candy corn and jelly beans. It was a beans and corn mixture. Jelly beans and corn. And then they had Boston baked beans in there. Yep. And so all kinds of different beans. And then they had some. He even made some red vine spaghetti to go on top. He made a meatball of Rice Krispies. So it was more of a like Rice Krispie ball. And to go on the side. And he prepared it all. He made it. And he put some sugar seasoning on it. And he was like ready to go. And the kids were like, oh my God, that's the craziest thing you've ever had. And we're so excited. So then they started eating, right? And then the old man started going in the oven, right? And he's like, oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, my food's about to be ready. He says, my dinner is almost done. They said, well, aren't you going to have the spaghetti? Red vine spaghetti? He's like, no, I don't eat candy. I don't eat candy at all. And they were like, well, why would you have a candy house and all this cupcake house and candy everywhere and feed us all this stuff? And he's like, well, I like to fatten up kids so I can eat them. And so, just as he was about to shove them in the oven, Mr. Fox came flying in and was like, hey, old man, screw you. You suck. You know what happened? The old man was like, Mr. Fox, what are you doing here? And Mr. Fox was like, yeah, I'm here to help you out. Then they both started laughing. Laughing. Turned out Mr. Fox betrayed the kids. But really, did he? Mr. Fox really tried to protect them. Because he said, don't go there into that cupcake. It'll hurt you. And he tried to say it in so many words. And Mr. Fox was the one that put up all the signs and everything like that. The old man, he actually had put up other signs that said, come get some cupcake on the side. So even though he seemed very angry, he was like, "Didn't you read my signs?" The old man was really a villain in the story. But so was Mr. Fox. And the kids, well, they were the villains, technically as well. But only because they were really greedy. And it was sad that they were greedy. So, the kids learned never to steal things again, and never to eat stuff that's not theirs, and all that kind of stuff. All the terrible things that people do to each other, right? They decided, well, we'll never do that again, and that was that. But they did get eaten though, so there's that. But they never did it again, so that's good. So let this be a warning, never to, mess things up like that. Never to take things that aren't yours. And all that good stuff. For the record though, the old man, one day, like the day after, he was cooking up something. I think it was Mr. Fox. And he was cooking them up, and he set the timer on the oven, and he set it and forget it, and all of a sudden, the whole dang cupcake house burnt to a crisp. But yeah, the whole forest started in a fire at that point, and they said it was like the forest fire. Great forest fire, and it was pretty crazy. I mean, Smokey the Bear was like, only you can prevent forest fires. And it's kind of true, because like humans are the ones that usually start the forest fires, But I guess that's not the case nowadays. Nowadays it's just so hot that it just bursts into flames. So, there's that. Yeah. But, yeah. The good thing is, Hansel and Gretel's, their parents lived, and they're still together today. That's a beautiful love story. Mm-hmm.